Hello and welcome to a Replica Airguns video. My name is Michael K. and we're looking at the Umarex S&W M&P. Now this is the last review in a series of low-cost guns by Umarex, and the guns that I reviewed in this series are the Colt Defender, the H&K USP, the Makarov, and of course the S&W M&P that we're taking a look at right now. So let's quickly go over some of the specifications. Now this is a non-blowback CO2 pistol, and it's mostly plastic. It uses the 12-gram CO2 cartridges. It's a 4.5 millimeter BB shooter. This gun has a 4 1/4 inch barrel. It's non-rifled. It holds 19 BBs in its dropout all-metal magazine. This gun weighs about 1 pound. It's double action only, and it has a clean feet per second of up to 480 feet per second. Now if you haven't noticed, this gun is a replica of the S&W M&P, and the model would be the M&P 40. And this gun is made in Taiwan. It comes in a clear plastic bubble wrap packaging. Let's do a bit of a walk around on this gun now. On the left side, take a little bit of a look here. You'll notice that we have the magazine release, and it's a dropout magazine, so it's not really spring, it won't spring out, but by pressing this one it'll drop out. Okay, so you get the dropout magazine here. And it's an all-metal magazine. Holds 19 BBs. The magazine adds a bit of weight to this gun since it's all plastic, and that's kind of nice. Everything else on this side is molded in, including the takedown lever here and the slide release. You'll also notice that there's some nice license markings in the handle and actually on the slide here. On the right side, take a look. We have our safety, and this gun doesn't have any CO2 in it at all. See? We have our safety, and you just push it down and forward or backwards depending on which mode you want it in. If it's in the back position, it's going to be in fire mode. If it's in the forward position, it's in the safe mode. Again, we have the slide release here, but it's molded into the frame. Everything else on this gun is pretty much molded into the frame. You will also notice on this gun that you have some holes here where this gun is put together. They're screw holes. Now you wouldn't find those on the real gun, and so that's really one of the only things you'll notice about this gun cosmetically that's not accurate to the true replica. Alright, let's take a look at the top of this gun. Just have a little look here. And again, everything is molded into the plastic. So you're not going to have any working parts here. None of the actual sights are adjustable, even though it kind of looks like they are because it has a screw there, but they're molded again into the slide. So at the front you'll notice that we have a nice white dot here, and that's really great for when you're targeting this gun in. And on the back, again, we have fiber optic sights. Again, really nice when you're targeting this gun in. On the bottom we have our magazine port, and this is where the 19 round full metal BB magazine goes. And then on the front we have our accessory rail for items such as lasers or tactical lights. Now you'll notice on the front of this gun and the barrel that it does have the wider open port, but inside of the barrel is the interior barrel, which is the actual barrel, the metal barrel for the BBs, and you'll notice it's a smaller diameter. And what's interesting about this gun, now this gun isn't loaded, but when you pull the trigger the barrel comes out and then snaps back. And the snapping back is essentially the hammer of this gun. So that's what's making the gun shoot. Alright, so here's a target that I shot at, and again I shot at my typical 20 feet away in a standing position with no rests at all. And I shot 10 rounds through this gun with about a 2 to 3 second break in between shots. And it did pretty good. I remember the last time I shot this gun I did a nicer grouping. But you know, again, human factor plays an effect on this. And most of the shots are grouped right in here. So this gun does shoot fairly on target. I had a few that kind of went lower here. But we're looking here at almost a 2.5 inch grouping. But I know this gun did a lot better last time. And I think it got closer to a 1 inch grouping, which is pretty good. So again, that may have been me. I've been doing some poor man crawny shooting tests on cans to get a real world shooting experience using a gun like this, and it did pretty good on the cans. First shot went through the side here. I wasn't quite on, so it sort of wrapped around the side and put a little bit of a ding in over here. Second shot I was a little bit more centered, and so it went through the front and right out the back. So it's doing pretty good. Not all guns get through both sides, so that's an indicator that this gun is shooting fairly high velocities. I also brought the bigger can out here, and you can see it didn't quite make it through the larger tube can. This is a little heavier metal, and it didn't quite make it through. I also wanted to mention that I brought my chronograph out, my chronograph, and I got to play with it today. So I actually shot 5 rounds from this gun through the chronograph to see what kind of actual true FPS I was getting. And the lowest FPS I got was 386, the highest was 391, so very close together, with an average of 388 feet per second. Now keep in mind that it's pretty cold where I'm shooting, maybe about 10 or 15 degrees Celsius, whatever that works out into Fahrenheit. And so it's not ideal CO2 shooting situations. So I imagine on a much warmer day I could get higher feet per second. Plus, I had already shot a few magazines with this gun before I did this test, so it wasn't actually a fresh CO2. But you know, it's a real world situation. You're going to get, you know, pretty consistent 400 feet per second shots with this gun. Alright, so let's talk about some of the pros and cons. What did I like about this gun? Well, this gun has good feet per second and it shoots fairly accurately, so that's a nice thing. It has really nice sight, so it's really easy to aim this gun and shoot it. It has an all-metal dropout magazine, which helps add a little bit of weight to this gun. And it's actually a pretty good replica of the real M&P Smith & Wesson 40 cal. So, I mean, you can see here it even has a little 40 on there. And it's got all the parts and the pieces in all the right places. And if you're using this gun as, say, a prop gun for a TV or a movie show, then you know it would really do the job. It would do a nice job for a relatively inexpensive price. Some of the things I didn't like about it so much, well, a lot of plastic in this gun. There's really not much metal, so it's fairly light. Guns always feel more realistic when they have some weight to them. And I think if it was more of a matte finish plastic, it would add a little bit more realism to this gun. I also don't like the screw holes that they put in the side here. And this is obviously to put this gun together, you screw these two sides together. And that's fine, but it does take a little bit away from the realism again. You know, other than those few things, this is actually a pretty good gun. It grew on me a little bit. I wasn't really a fan of it at first because it was such a lightweight gun. But it's pretty good, you know. I really like how realistic it looks in general. So that's a nice thing. I like the realistic guns. You know, obviously I like blowback. I like weightier guns, a little more metal. But if you put that all aside, it's a pretty good gun. Alright, thanks again for watching another Replica Airguns video. Stay tuned for more Replica Airgun and Blank Gun videos. I'm always getting more guns and making more videos. And don't forget to check out the Replica Airguns website where we have more information, articles, reviews, and sometimes I'll even add some more information there than what's on the videos. While you're on the website, make sure to check out our Replica Airgun store where we have all sorts of different airguns available for sale and blank guns available for sale, and even some accessories. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.